Hello everyone, John here. It's time for another episode of Drawing Dwarf Fortress, which is apparently the name of this thing I've created. Last episode we drew some crundles, or a crundle actually. This time I thought I'd turn my hand to a helmet snake. Now I have actually drawn a helmet snake before. I drew it the way I think most people think it's supposed to look based on the sprite in the game. However, I did put a post up on Reddit a few weeks back, oh god, probably a few months back now, arguing that I could see another way for you to view the helmet snake. Now, I didn't get a lot of good interactions from that Reddit post, and in light of that I thought, well, why don't I just draw it? And if I'm going to be drawing something that isn't for an episode, I may as well record it at the same time. So that's what this is, and that's probably enough start. Let's begin. So, a good helmet snake starts with a venonat face. I think everybody's aware of that. Mix in a little bit of haunter. And, yep, got to move that. It's not in the right place. I should probably, and may actually do, keep up the picture of the helmet snake, the sprite itself, just so you can see that I was working towards something specific, which I wasn't doing in the first helmet snake picture that I did. But for this one, I was trying to match it as closely as possible to the sprite so that it would act as the best argument for it looking the way that it does. Now, I don't actually think that the helmet snake is supposed to look like this. I do think it's supposed to look like it's looking to the left. But I think it's hard to argue that you can't view it in this way as well. And there he is. Happy little guy. So I struggled quite a bit with the proportions, mainly because as a sprite they had less space to work with, and I wanted it to match that, but it just, when so much of it is up to interpretation, as something as small as a sprite is, it gets hard to be able to draw in a more of a three-dimensional traditional way like this. I don't know why I said three-dimensional. Traditional was the word I was looking for. And here he is, Snakey the Hedgehog. Probably the second Sonic the Hedgehog joke I've made, but that's okay. And now moving on to just doing some basic embellishments. Now, I was trying my best not to spin the canvas too much. Oh, we're on to inking already. Oh no, his head was too thick. Yeah, so we're on to inking. I did try to move the canvas as little as possible during the sketching stage, just to show as much of the shape as possible, but when it comes to doing the inking, you just need more control over that. And previously in the Crundle episode I mentioned that I would normally not do a secondary stage, or I suppose a primary lining stage, and would just go straight to the lining as I have here, proving that this is actually what I normally do. I did that on purpose. I was trying to not make a liar of myself. Now, I think I had trouble with this eye, if I remember rightly. I wanted it to look good, but it wasn't matching the angle that the other eye was coming in at. So I wanted it to be all sleek and not wonky as it ends up being. And there we go. And then I'm like, oh, fine, I'll just follow the line I drew before because it was right. And there we are. I have to fix it afterwards when it comes to shading. And here you can see the painstaking irritation of having to draw a single line. You'd think that would be the easy part, but no, it is in fact the hardest part. See, can't even finish a line there. Now, I realised partway through doing this line that it didn't make sense and that I'd ended up with a snake that had swallowed a box or something, so I had to do that again. My head's turning with the canvas. I wonder if you guys are doing that. Yep, it wasn't standing up straight, so you saw I just moved it across before I got to colouring. And dead simple, they're supposed to be a bright white colour. Obviously you can't do white when you're doing something like this. You can't do any extra brightening stages on pure white, so I went with a bluish light grey colour. Always makes them look cold to me. I think I did the same with the other one as well. It makes it look more frost-like. And with the tusks that it's got there, it kind of looks like they're made of ice. And it wasn't what I was going for specifically, but I like how it turned out. And there we are, going a bit heavy with the shading this time. I think, yeah, I went too far. Have to delete some of it, or rub it out, I suppose. Now to make the eyes look like they're actually rounded rather than just painted onto a flat surface. I think we are on to the highlighting, and this is what this highlights what I was talking about earlier, where it's hard to see the lighter colour because the colour is so light underneath it. I could probably have done with going with a slightly darker grey blue, but I wanted to keep the effect. I went way over with that. Did I fix that? I did. Of course I did, because that looked ridiculous. Now, a new thing I've been doing, and that I quite like, is during the shading process and the light process, the lightning process, I'll add details and embellishments where I'd normally leave those things to last with the final inking. I've started adding them with the colours as well, so you can see there's like scales and things in there. And I like that. Oh, and I went in for a different colour. I went for a brown colour with the shadowing on this as well. I remember telling myself to remember to tell you. And I have done. Well done, me. And obviously we're now on to the line art. Now what I was trying to do here was to differentiate the top of the spikes from the bottom. So you'll see the pits are on the top, there's lines on the bottom. I like what I did with the eyes. I didn't do inside the mouth. That's okay, you won't notice. Maybe I'll do something in post. I won't. There we are. Now this part is incredibly important. Making sure you add the detailing in such a way that it adds extra form to the shape. So this looks like a three-dimensional tube-like shape to me now, because I've added all of those extra details that curve around. I don't always use lines. Sometimes I just use a couple of dots or some circles or... And there we are with the divoting at the top again. I was trying to do like scales type thing on any surface that was at the top. And any surface at the bottom got more wrinkles and things like that. Again, just to show a difference between the two sides. There we are. Oh, and that's it done. There it is. The finished thing. It's probably best if I show you the finished thing. Finished. And I'm sure there'll be a picture of it now. Ah, the magic of editing. But there you go. I'm hoping that everybody can now see what I'm struggling to not see when I look at the picture of a helmet snake on Dwarf Fortress. I can, in fact, still with this one, see it in both ways. If I start from the cuffs on the right hand, the spines on the right hand side and move left, I see it as though it's facing left, and if I move from the left hand side and scan right, I see it the way I've depicted it here. But yeah, thought that would be a bit of an interesting thing for you. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you want to see more nonsense that's Dwarf Fortress related. And normal Dwarf Fortress episode will be out next Friday as normal. Look after yourselves, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.